water, there's no running water. Whenever I need some water, I have to ask this little boy, and he would go running and he would buy a bucket of water, and I would wash my face and clean with my teeth, and then I can't believe it. I took a shower with half of our bucket because I felt guilty. I didn't want them to pay more money. And they gave their best, and they gave everything. But you know, my Jesuit brothers and I, it was so difficult. Here we are, highly educated men with advanced degrees. We are heavily trained, and we have lots of connection. And yet, we could do very little. If we could speak better Tagalog, maybe we'd do a little more. But even then, why? Because the socio-economic situation is too great for us to handle. So it was rất là khó cho chúng em là những người từ đa số là những nước Tây phương có bằng, đủ loại tài năng, còn được huấn luyện nhưng không làm gì được và rất là khó. We felt so powerless, especially when we see injustice around. And it was easy. Besides celebrating Mass and watching TV and cartoons and eat and sometimes pray, we couldn't do anything else. Rất là khó. And all of us, we felt a little pressure. You know how it is, sometimes we give ourselves pressure. Chúng ta cảm thấy mình làm hơn. But slowly we all learn something. Just listen. Just try to be present and to be honest with what's going on and learn to trust. And joy, it completely changed my 3 months. I didn't know then, but that was God teaching me. Just create space for me. I'm already here. Why do you need to worry so much? And slowly, I learned one thing. I learned why those families want so much priests to be in their family. Not because we're holy. No. Because somehow to them, we represent God's presence. And one woman told me, Father, you're here, I know God's here. I'm not God. And so I told her, you're here, I know God's here. And so learning to listen, learning to let God create His presence, we underestimate how important that is, particularly to our children, the quality of presence. And just to listen. Because the first thing I want to do to our children is to lecture. The first thing I want to do to other members in our CLC group is, how come we're not following the CLC way of life? But yet, simple, cái sự hiện diện sâu xa mà tin rằng Chúa đang ở đây, Chúa đang thánh hóa is so powerful. So learn to listen. It's not an easy thing. Because why? Every time we're together, there's a million things going on. Có bao nhiêu pressure, and rất là khó lắm nhỉ. And when we work, it's even harder to listen. And yet, it's important because God's Spirit is already at work. Already listening. Prayer. And as you and I listen more, we come to one of the fundamental of Ignatian spirituality. We realize that we say we love God, we say we want to do something for God, but like the two standard meditation, we find ourselves in the camp of the enemy. Chúng ta muốn làm những điều hay cho Chúa, nhưng chúng ta khám phá ra cái tự ái nó cao hơn là Chúa. We throw around the word discernment so much. I'm not sure many of us in CLC are really attentive to what is most basic about discernment, which is testing our motivation and testing what moves us to say, to speak, and to act. Because a lot of times, the Magis is, for us, a great efficiency. A lot of time for us, the Magis is doing more. And in that particular case, maybe it's not. And so we need to test our motivation. We in CLC and Dogman are very good people, are very generous people. So we throw ourselves as I do, throw ourselves into activity and throw ourselves into wonderful things for God. And yet sometimes our generosity is misguided. You know why? Because as soon as we have conflict, what's wrong with you? Why do you understand me? Tại sao không hiểu tôi làm cho Chúa mà? And it's then khi đụng chạm mà mới khám phá là ui, có lẽ làm cho tôi nhiều hơn cho Chúa. So the question we ask, whatever spirit we have, when I serve or when I lead, am I drawing more attention to myself and my group at CLC or Đồng Hành? Or are we drawing more attention to God? Are we helping people grow towards God? Are we, in our many activities, growing towards God? This is an I question. Next is a we question. So we can have as much fun as we can. We can do as much good as we can in our results. Những cái câu hỏi chính là thật sự có giúp cho mình lớn lên gần Chúa không? Và giúp cho những người chung quanh mình lớn lên gần Chúa không? So, whatever the flow of activity and ministry we are at, it's good to ask ourselves, okay, I have good intentions, but really, am I drawing greater attention to God? And am I growing in God? And the people around me, working with me, serving with me, are we growing towards God? That's the central question. And if we are attentive to, if we examine ourselves, we will discover that. Again, I'll share with you about me, my hang-ups. I'm a perfectionist. And people who are perfectionists think that we have to be perfect to be loved. Everything we do must be perfect. And when I come to God, I'm like, oh my God, God wants me to be perfect. Especially when I read Matthew. Fine, hoàn hảo như Thiên Chúa hoàn hảo. Be perfect as your Father, Heavenly Father is perfect. Oh my goodness. And slowly, I discovered, actually sometimes, the best, the enemy of the better. I'm sorry, the perfect is the enemy of the good. Why? Because sometimes I don't make enough space for God because I'm trying to do the perfect in my eyes, of course. And khi người khác không làm được theo để ý mình, đứng chặn mình thì tại sao không có như vậy, sao không như vậy? And so this testing of the Spirit is crucial. And we all have our own habits. And we need to test it. And if we are good sons and daughters of St. Ignatius, we always need to test. Especially the more powerful our drive, những gì chúng ta càng muốn làm thì phải càng cần test. And especially when we feel higher, when we go back. Have you noticed when you go on retreat, you have a high, when you go back, you're down? Fine, normal. But we need to test. We need to test this. Just because you're down, it doesn't mean God is not there. Just test it. And Thánh Nhã nhắc chúng ta. So the sermon and the Magis needs to go together. And the last one. Oh yes, this is a question I've learned. It's very, in some way, it's very simple. And I think each of us has this. For example, for example, have you ever had allergies with someone? With allergies? you next time you sneeze, except you don't do anything. Or you with somebody and sometimes a bomb goes inside, boom, but the person has no idea. No idea. And usually that person is in your CLC group. Or working with you. So, notice when you're with them. Notice how you are. Now, it's nice to be like this, but you know, that's hard, especially when you have allergies. If you have no allergy, no problem. We have allergy and we will protect ourselves. Oh my God, that person hurt me before, I can't let him hurt me again. And it's okay. It's okay. I'm not asking this to change, but I'm simply suggesting this. Take 5